para que podamos saber qué hacer. No quiero dejarte, pero tengo que ser feliz. Tus palabras me pueden dar este sentimiento, pero no me hablas y no te hablo. ¿Qué podemos hacer para estar juntos? Aunque tu boca está cerrada, tu corazón me habla y mis sentimientos por ti son iguales.
Good morning, everybody. Is it okay if I sit down for this? No. I'm just hanging out with my friends, and I'm feeling very comfortable and feeling very safe, and I'm still a little dizzy. I had quite a cosmic type experience last night. I accidentally slipped and got drunk. Tom Jones drunk. And I'm not pleading innocence. Seldom a birthday passes and I'm not Frank Sinatra drunk, but once in a while, maybe a couple times a decade, I show up Dean Martin drunk. But never, it was really interesting because it's never Tom Jones, and I don't even know who Tom Jones is. So I was really taken off guard. And I'm sitting there, honestly, minding my own business, and in the old spaghetti factory, and I'm in the corner, and we're chatting with some people, and maybe somewhere between the wine and the pasta and the dehydration and the total exhaustion, it starts, and it's like, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Jones, and I'm like, wow, I'm the only one who can hear this, and then the horns start, and it's like da 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 da. I'm like, and I know this is coming out, and I just I turn my head like I'm going to burp or something. I'm like, not unusual to be loved by anyone. Excuse me, not unusual to have fun with anyone. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And I share that with you because, it's just us today. Brig and Deb, if you're here for your second time, this is not what normally happens. This is a snow day, and just coast with me for a little bit. But I bring that up because I had been struggling for a while with a talk for today and the subject, and it's about completion and what you are done with. And Topher, thank you so much for your reading and your treatment. Spot on. That was done and complete, and we don't need to talk about that anymore. You got it. You nailed it, my man, and thank you. Thank you for channeling that for all of us, because I hit that, and, the title is supposed to be, It Is Done, and what am I done with? And boy, I had quite a list of things that I am just so done with. That was not really a talk. But all of us have our methods and our moods where we just shut the engines down and we get back to zero. And when we do, a flood of things just starts coming in. And I am so confused. I hopefully have a few thoughts here that'll be amusing, if not interesting. Our bodies work with us and they work against us, and it makes our life really challenging sometimes as we move ahead to progress and grow. Like the Tom Jones moment, when you're flying high, you feel that things are going okay. And then there are other times when we're uncomfortable. And it's this discomfort that we go through that is necessary in life, but it's not any fun. And we have to break that. I have to break that up. I won't project any of this on you, but I have to break it up sometimes and just take a break and stop with the discomfort. Some of us have too much wine and food. Some of us watch too much TV. Some of us are checked out on our phones. Some of us check out on other ways. Homegrown cigarettes. I love that term, Randy. And some of us will even use meditation to escape, as an escape. Yeah. I mean, there's a way to use it, and then there's a way to just check out and take that break. And however you do that, that's valid. And then when our body gets to neutral, we can go back in and feel things a little bit better. So, it's those uncomfortable moments and what they tell us. We're in total agreement with the comfortable moments, and we're not in agreement with our uncomfortable moments. Because our uncomfortable moments tell us something is wrong. I was reminded of my daughter, Jackie, and I was so worried about her because the first 3 years of her life, she would hardly eat anything. And she still continued to grow some way. And finally, it got really bad when she was 3 years old, and she couldn't eat because her stomach hurt. So we took her to the doctor, and the doctor checked her all out, and she says, "Okay, tell me about your stomach." And she listened to it, and she says, "Yeah, and it hurts all the time, and I can't eat anything." And the doctor told her, "Well, that pain that you're feeling means you're hungry, and you need to eat." And I'm like, whoa, because I never thought of that. I mean, that's what I feel, but then there's times when I feel like, no, now wouldn't be a good time to eat. Well, Jackie, 3 years old, she didn't know the difference. And it's kind of like these moments where we think we're doing the right thing and we interpret our life correctly, and we really don't. And so when I get hungry, that's uncomfortable. When I get thirsty, that's uncomfortable. And it tells me there's something about your situation that you need to change and you need to right. And discomfort is a part of change. It's always a part of change. Jim Lockhart, who's coming in January, he writes in his book, Beloved Community, that change and discomfort are always associated, and that it's the job of spiritual leaders to gently lead people into the discomfort of growth and change. So I look forward to hearing more about that. It's because gentle or not, you're going into that discomfort. And it's that, but everything else I've learned in the last couple of weeks along this line is this. There's also some conflict that goes with change, and I've learned where that conflict lies. It's the fear, the anxiety, the things that come along with this discomfort that we associate, that we want to avoid. And so we are masters of the universe, and we know that we're masters of the universe because we can break the rules. We can do the things that are bad for us. We can make mistakes, and nothing bad will happen instantly. But we get that feeling that lets us know something's not quite right. And so just like we can choose to break the rules because we don't want that to happen accidentally to anybody, Can you imagine how unfair it would be to set free agents down in a playground and say, okay, and anything you do might be a mistake? No, we have to consciously make mistakes. And we do. We know we do. And just like that, we also have to consciously choose our growth and choose the pain that grows with growth to get to the end that we want and become the people that we want to be. And that is the conflict. And the conflict I see in you is the conflict that's in me. Reverend Myrna is not here with us. I don't see her here. She gave a great talk once, and it was years ago, called Good to Great. And she said that good is the enemy of great. And I did not like that. I had to work for years with that. And it came back in the last little while. Well, I woke up with it this morning when I got to neutral. And I said, hey, good is the enemy of great. And that is where I'm disadvantaged, because it is really good to be Curt. I'm not going to lie to you. It is good. I've never once wanted to be anybody else. And I've got it good enough that it really doesn't make sense to step into the discomfort of change. To have that ambition, that need, that drive to go through the pain and whatever of getting to that end. Wendy and I went to see the movie Harriet, about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. And I watched that story, and then I watched a bigger story around it. And it's the story of consciousness and how we all get our consciousness maybe at different times, or we see different parts of it at different times. And Harriet decided she was not a slave. She was a free person. And she ran away. They told her she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it by herself, and she couldn't do it because she was a woman, and she did it. And then she turned around and did something they also told her she couldn't do. She said, I've got to go back for my family. I've got to go back for my friends. And when she went back, some people said, yeah, we'll go with you, because what I didn't know was real now, I know is real by looking at you and what you do. And other people said, I know that there's a greater good out there, but it's not for me. I am going to stay right here. And she could not pull people out and away from where they were, because their consciousness and our minds are set like this to recreate what we have already known. And that's a good default position to be created with, because if you're set up good, you want things to keep running good. And if we actively pursue our change, we're going to choose that discomfort, and we know why we're doing that and getting rewarded for that. My favorite part of that whole movie was they got to a side of a creek or a river, and it's dark, and they don't know how deep it is, and they don't know what to do. And in the background, they hear the dogs and the horses, and they're being followed. And they take off running across this creek, not knowing how deep it is, not knowing what's going to happen to them. And it shows up close-ups on their faces as they're running through that river. And I'm like, wow, how blessed this group of people to know intently, individually and collectively, what they want more than anything else. And it synced them up, and they ran for that, and they all moved in the same direction with the same effort and energy. And the discomfort was not a price to pay. It was a thing to get over and away from. And they did it because they knew what they were moving to. And I'm like, that would be nice. I don't have it bad enough to know I want better. But do I want better enough to run from the good that I have into the greatness that can be? So far, not yet. I'm talking about change. When every time we think about change, this idea of the caterpillar shows up and the butterflies. And I realized what a tired example and analogy that is, and how it really doesn't relate to us at all. It's a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. And I got to watch it in grade school. I hope you got to watch that too. And caterpillar is there. And it goes at the end of its caterpillar experience. It has enjoyed everything that a caterpillar can do as a caterpillar. And then it goes up and it hangs on a twig and it starts to cocoon. The lucky caterpillar doesn't have to make a conscious decision to do that. Doesn't have a choice to do that. Can you imagine if it did? And I can. If it was like, oh yeah, when I'm ready and I'm through being a caterpillar, I'm just going to hike up this tree here, and I'm going to find a little twig or a little branch, and I'm just going to hook myself to that, and then I'm going to let stuff secrete from me and encase me into this where I can't breathe or eat or anything, and then I'm going to melt into goo. That is the scientific word I've heard it described as, is goo. And then I'm going to be there. Can you imagine that? It'd be like, oh, how many caterpillars would there be in the world? You know, we have these old caterpillars. Do they need a cane for each set of legs they have? I don't know. They're like, you know, there is greatness for me, and I'm going to do that someday. And they sit around, you know, on Saturday nights at the old spaghetti factory, and they say, you know, I'm not really this. I'm a butterfly. And their caterpillar friends say, oh, yeah, me too. I get it. Yeah. But, you know, someday when we're tired of this, we're gonna do that cocoon thing too. And I imagine sometimes they get together on Sunday mornings and sit with their friends and listen to somebody tell about the great day when they're all going to achieve their butterflyness and be whole and complete and wonderful and achieve their full expression of life. I imagine they sit around a little bit and talk bad about the butterflies and all that they don't do for the caterpillar people, you know. They should be doing a little bit more for these people. That's me. I am the old caterpillar, man. I'm just like, there's a few things that I just like, I'm not quite ready yet. I like the leaves. I like walking around on the underside of plants. I just, you know, do these things, and that's what keeps me stuck. Another cool thing about that metamorphosis is, you know, caterpillars, they go into the goo. And caterpillars and people respect that. No one ever says, have you seen Joey? Yeah, he's just hanging around. It's been about a month now. He hasn't done a darn thing. To Joey's credit, he's not talking from the goo saying, look what you people have done to me. I wasn't like this 2 weeks ago, and then we were all hanging out, and now look at me, and here I am. This is not good, and I hate what you did. No, we leave him totally alone doing his thing. And when he's ready and when it's right, he comes out and he's a butterfly. And he's not about eating leaves or finding the underside of anything. He doesn't remember the caterpillar days at all because he's not tortured with a mind that thinks like we do. He's flying around being the butterfly and enjoying the full expression of that chapter of his life. We are whole and complete in our essence. There is part of us that is whole and complete and unlimited, and it tries to take over the rest of us. And when that call comes, we can actually tell it to stop. We can put ourselves on this special diet that just keeps us numb enough to ignore that and to wrap ourselves up and say, okay, it's time to change. I'm thankful for this period of my life, and I'm moving on. Well, thanks for listening. I just wanted to share. There's no conclusion. There's no thought. There's no complete thought. It's just that is for us to work with. That is for us to do. And when we're caught in our goo, we move forward baby steps at a time, and you can't tell where I am or what I'm doing. You can't tell what I know and what I see in the future and what I keep seeing from the past. And so sometimes just let me hang out here and there. Let's go into prayer, and we'll invite our practitioners up. Thank you very much. Standing here together in the power and presence that always is, in the possibility that connects each of us together with the eternal reality of what we are. We share this experience with each other, and I know it through me, and I know it through you. And knowing it together, we know that it is, and it is us. That sits in me, it sits in you, and it is what quickens us and enlivens us and tells us when things are good, and it tells us when things are bad. Knowing this truth and giving thanks for this experience, I sit in a moment of realization of what my life has been, the goodness that has come to me, and the goodness that comes to me with my decisions and my actions and my steps forward. If you're ready, please come forward now. We'll take a moment of rest. And as these individual prayers are winding down, I know that the love that I feel inside is the love that I am. The love that I feel from the outside is the love that you are. That there is love in every moment, in every place. I know the captain of my ship. I know the creator of my destiny. And I love that person. I love me. Take a moment and just thank yourself for taking you this far, for bringing you to this place in this moment. If it feels right, just hug yourself and say thank you. The power and presence that is, the power and presence that we are, will not be denied and will be fulfilled in its due process and time. I know of a surety that I am loved, that I am love itself, and I am the love that gives energy and strength to others. Giving thanks for all of this, the pleasure of being, the opportunity to live this life of God and for God. I let it be, and I sit with it. I carry it with me. And together we say, and so it is.